I go home.
Hi, everybody. Chad Westport here, and we're back with another episode of Just One Thing. And today, I got a really special guy for you, Pigeons420, somebody who you probably know from the community, puts out a great deal of content for growers of all levels. And I love the way that he presents. It's fun, it's encouraging, and you can tell that he has a passion for what he does. And so that's why I wanted to bring him on here today to give you his Just One Thing. So without further ado, Pigeon420, what is your one thing you think all new growers should know about?
Well, Chad, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a delight to be here. I love putting in a little bit of sprinkle of that pea whenever I can, and I think it's a great series you're doing here because growing cannabis can be overwhelming, and there can be a lot of information out there, and you're not really sure where to go. And if you could choose just one thing, I think mine would be a good, positive, and healthy mindset before you go into growing cannabis. Um, I think your failures are inevitable, and the challenges are going to be imminent. And I think the sooner you can remind yourself what you're doing this for, and that it's going to be a journey and a lesson, you're going to come into this with more of an acceptance for failure. And I think that's very important. We kind of touched on it. It can be overwhelming when you're looking for information and when you're trying to dial in your process. But I've always considered growing cannabis to be more of a lifestyle than a hobby. This is a lifestyle because it's going to affect pretty much every portion of your life. It's going to affect your traveling. It's going to affect your relationships. If you've got a husband or a wife, or if you've got a girlfriend, or your gardening is going to become a topic of conversation at some point. Even when if you're living with somebody, and your time is going to be dedicated to the garden. And it's important that you just kind of understand that you're doing so much more than just putting seed to soil. You're changing your life. You're going to be bound to routines that you had never had before. Getting up every day to check on the garden, whether it's out of habit or addiction. You're gonna be there, and you're gonna spend a lot of time there. So I think the one thing that I think you need before you ever even got started is just a good, healthy, and clean mindset, open to opportunity and possibility, because that's really what growing cannabis is gonna provide you. It's gonna provide you with opportunity in a lot of different ways. Whether it's your health, whether it's your recreational aspects, whether you're infusing, whether it's for friendships, whether you're providing for people. It starts up here. And by starting clean and healthy, you're giving yourself a really good start to doing the best you can. And I think that you can say the same thing for life. The more open-minded and positive you are towards the experience, you're going to do much better regardless of the results.
I agree 100%. Time commitment is something that we discuss when we discuss, what type of media or grow style somebody should use. And knowing that ahead of time, like you're saying, yeah, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. What are some things, because like you said, accidents and disaster is kind of inevitable. It's how we learn. What is something you've used to, turn that frown upside down when you've had these types of things happen to you?
Well, and I've had many of them, many of which are recorded and on record. Everything from hermaphroditic plants to overdoses to deficiencies to just sheer jackassery. I've knocked fans over on my plants. I've done just about everything, but it's an adventure, and every challenge and every failure that you kind of come across in each cycle and each grow, you're going to use as a tool or a weapon going into the next cycle. So regardless of what's going to happen to you in the garden, I don't care what it is. It's like there's always a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture. Life doesn't end in the garden. Things are gonna be okay. And these plants are really, really resilient, so a lot of the times we're finicky and we're kind of worried about we snapped something, or we broke this, or we oops, I knocked it over. 9 times out of 10 she's okay. It's a mental game. It's going to happen to the best of us. I still snap things during training, but it's only because I have been through this before that I know that it's just a snap, move on. Maybe even this particular branch or bud might even come out twice the size because of the stress that it went through. Anything is possible.
Yeah, there's plenty of Bob Ross moments and happy accidents in gardening.
It's really the truth. It's really true.
Thank you so much, Pigeons420, for stopping by tonight and sharing your just one thing with everybody. I want to let everybody know where they can find you. Again, folks, these will be in the show notes down below. But genius on genius here. All of your channels, whether it be Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, they're all Pigeons420.
Yes, I am Pigeons420 across the internet. Yeah, how fortunate is that? Hey,
lucky man, you must have started early.
Very early. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, with that, thank you everybody for tuning in for another episode. Keep it locked and party on.
I know